This is a tough track, Mosport. It's a lot of brakes. You use a lot of brakes here, and you got to have a lot of power to get off the turn here.
Particularly challenging on braking systems, but it's very easy on tires, so those two kind of weigh each other out.
Yeah, this track here at Mosport can get pretty tough. It's pretty fast down the chutes, and it gets pretty tight in the corners.
Athletes in any sport have their favorite arenas of competition. For some inexplicable reason, certain venues bring out their best performance. Over the last 2 seasons, the American Canadian Tour has run 5 times at Mosport International Speedway, Bowmanville, Ontario. And Campbellville, Ontario's Junior Hanley has won 4 of them. On Raceline in July, Hanley led all but 10 of the 132 laps to once again confound the competition and the organization.
No, there doesn't seem to be. I've had it from A to Z. I've even checked the inside of his muffler. There ain't much I haven't missed. He's just a good racer.
But Hanley isn't the only one who likes running Mosport. Robbie Crouch won here last fall, and this is home turf for Oshawa's Randy McDonald, a former Raceline winner, along with the Zardos, Derek Lynch, Kim Wallace, Robbie Thompson, and nobody likes to lose in their own backyard.
Well, that wasn't enough of a challenge, really. We finished second, and this time we want to take it all the way if we can and just keep him behind us.
Raceline returns to Mosport for the GM Motorsport 200 on our Summer of Thunder Tour, 92. Hi again, everybody. I'm Eric Thomas, along with Dave Moody and John Massingbird, and welcome to the GM Motorsport 200, our second Raceline visit to Mosport International Speedway. Dave, the last time we were here, a dominating afternoon by Junior Hanley, but I know there are others on the American Canadian Tour that have made adjustments. They're not going to let that happen again.
Well, if qualifying earlier was any indication, there are a handful of drivers here that are capable of breaking Hanley's stranglehold on victory lane. 2 Canadian veterans, Roger Leperle and Claude Leclerc, qualified 1 and 2. Hanley only 3rd fastest in qualifying, and alongside him, his chief rival in the battle for the GM championship, Randy McDonald.
Got to talk about this place. Long, fast straightaways, tight turns at either end. Dave, this place can really beat up your equipment.
This track is a bear on brakes in particular. Long straightaways, hairpin corners, and when the brakes go away here at Mosport, quite often they go away all at once. And as we saw 2 years ago with John Greedy and Randy McDonald, when the brakes fail, you can lose a race car.
For more, let's go trackside and John Massingbird.
Well, gentlemen, thank you. If diversity is what you like, you come to the right place. We've got a couple of front rows where you're not going to find any more experience. 1990 Series champion Randy McDonald starting in the Pro Shop Chevrolet, Junior Hanley in the Molson Export Ford, an all-Canadian front row with the Quebec Ironman, Claude Leclerc in the number 11 car, the Lumina, and starting on the inside front row from the St. Pierre Auto Auction is going to be Roger Leperle. Fords and Chevrolets, veterans, it's going to be great here this afternoon. When we return, we'll go green on Raceline.
The GM National Stock Car Series is brought to you by GM Parts, the expert choice. Kodak Gold Plus Film. You can't keep the moment without Kodak. Castrol XLR, the oil engineered for today's cars. Revell, the world's model maker. And by Budweiser Racing. It's a Bud race.
For the GM Motorsport 200, they will line up thusly. Best qualifying position all year for the veteran Roger Leperle on the point in the Thunderbird.
And outside Leperle, a very familiar rival, Claude Leclerc of Montreal in the Auto Pro Chevrolet.
Junior Hanley, just about uncatchable here in July. Last time on Raceline, goes for his 7th GM win this afternoon.
But if anybody's going to catch him, it may be this man, Randy McDonald, Oshawa, Ontario, in the GM Parts Pro Shop Chevrolet.
Robbie Crouch will go with the V6 and the weight brake that goes with it. He hopes that'll lessen wear on tires.
And on the outside of Crouch to go 6th, the top rookie on the GM Series, Peterborough, Ontario's Kim Wallace.
To the balance of the field here. Row 4, Derek Lynch, 7th last time here in July. Watch for another top 10 from Derek this afternoon.
On the inside of row 5, the Flyer. Rolly McDonald from Nova Scotia. He loves these fast tracks.
Row number 9, Dan Beatty, very quick in the preliminaries. Watch for Dan to be very quick here this afternoon.
The other 6-banger in the field on the inside of row 10, Brad Layton from New Hampshire.
Row number 14, Dave Whitlock looking for that Bosch rookie title. He is capable of a top 10 here today.
And outside Whitlock, the young man who qualified on the pole last time here at Mosport, Robbie Thompson.
And Ralph Nason driving the Gonzalez machine for the parade laps here, and then Joe will jump back in.
Nason having some engine problems in qualifying has hopped a ride to earn himself some points.
Just a 30-point lead for Junior Hanley over Randy McDonald in the GM National Stock Car Series. Is going to go right down to the final event at Cayuga, Dave.
Pace car is pulling in turn number 3. We are set for a start. Ford against Chevrolet, the two Quebec veterans. Roger Leperle on the inside, Claude Leclerc on the outside. Here they come out of turn 4. Mike Wilder with the green flag in hand. They are set to go racing.
Oh, they look gorgeous coming out of 4, don't they? Green flag is up, and here we go. GM Motorsport 200 is underway at Mosport International on Raceline.
Claude Leclerc on the outside with the horsepower advantage. Puts the Auto Pro machine out on the point, and right behind him, here comes Randy McDonald in the 0-1.
Randy McDonald flashes of the last time we were here, and Junior got out front. Randy wants to get out front as soon as he can. He doesn't want to trail Junior at all if you can possibly help him.
Claude Leclerc into the turn with the lead in hand. The battle is for second, side by side, and swapping some fenders through the corners. Trouble as Howie Scannell goes around. They play dodgeball in the corners. Everybody gets by with the exception of the 71, Denny Knowles Sr., who gets crossed up as well.
I don't know if anybody hit anything here as we see Beaver dragging up by the pace car. He's moving up beside the pace car. He is coming in here. Maybe there was some contact, Dave.
Without question, an unplanned pit stop for the two-time American-Canadian Tour champion. Beaver dragging with just a touch of cosmetic damage on the nose of the 75, but I guarantee he is not on pit road for body repairs. He's got a tire problem. They're going to go to the right front corner of the Harrison Ready Mix Pontiac.
Looks like they've cut that tire down here. The crew getting that tire off if they can. They're not in a whole lot of hurry here. They got to try and get Beaver out. If there's a guy that needs some horsepower to get around this place, you can usually count on Beaver to be there, but he goes down here right off the bat. Kind of a tough break for Beaver.
And this is more than a tire problem. You could see one of the crew members giving him the shut it off sign.
Yeah.
So they've definitely got some problems. They may have banged up the suspension.
Let's test your ACT knowledge here. Performance Racing News Trivia brought to you by PRN, North America's Motorsport Authority. Mr. Consistent at Mosport. Most numbered of top 10s. Who do you think? Is it A, Crouch, B, LePage, or C, Randy McDonald? What do you think?
Could be any of the three.
Yeah.
All three drivers have been very consistent here this year. We'll have the answer a bit later on.
All right, restart coming on out here. Front row, Claude Leclerc, car number 11 leads him down. Look at Randy McDonald swinging by high on the outside. And Junior Hanley going to try and use the same hole.
Claude Leclerc very strong down on that inside line, pulls away with the lead. Randy McDonald will try and tuck it downstairs for second. Roger Leperle having none of that. He puts the 00 back to the inside.
I tell you what, Claude Leclerc can always be counted on to be a contender in any one of these ACT championship races. But I want to tell you, I've never seen the guy run better than I've seen him run here right now.
Claude Leclerc is one of those drivers that is very smooth, very consistent. You don't notice him until he's got a great race car. Then he comes in as Mr. Aggressive. He'll blow these guys into the weeds if the car is right.
Oh, look at Junior Hanley and Randy McDonald battling side by side here. Junior takes the slot away, and look at Robbie Crouch in the six-banger. He's moving to the front right away.
You can see the advantage of being down on the inside line. It is definitely the quick way around here. Junior Hanley made the low groove work as he moved underneath Randy McDonald. Now he goes to work on his fellow Ford pilot, Roger Leperle, who in turn goes for the lead on the inside of Claude Leclerc.
And Leperle is really driving it tough here. Our pole sitter, he's got the heat from Leclerc on the outside and Junior right there, and Randy McDonald is hanging tough. Now Leclerc starts to fade. Just talking about how well he was doing, now he's going backwards.
Claude Leclerc trapped up in no man's land on the outside line, and in half a lap he has gone from first now to fifth as Robbie Crouch moves underneath.
Robbie Crouch moves into the fourth position, but up front, what a duel here. Thunderbirds, Roger Leperle, the 00, Junior Hanley in the 72, Randy McDonald still applying that heat, Dave.
Eric, I've got to say, I'm a little bit surprised with the ferocity of the competition here in the early going. This is going to be a long drive, but Junior Hanley apparently feels now is the time to go to the front. He sticks it down low on Roger Leperle. The lapped car dead ahead. Leperle throws the pick, and at least for the moment, he'll hold on to the lead into turn one.
Take your mind back to July. Junior Hanley led all but 10 laps of that event, and look at him go. He's just going to push the number 77 of Dave Lebrecht aside, challenging Roger Leperle up front, and look who's leading already.
A very daring move, to say the least, by Junior Hanley. Made it a three-wide sandwich with the lap car of Dave Lebrecht. Bounced off the 77, sliced it inside La Pearl, and as easy as that, he's back in front.
Slicing and dicing his way to the front. Junior Hanley on the point. Everybody trying to catch him. Coming by the wall cam. See some of those tight corners we were talking about here at Mosport International. So now the chase is on again. Campbellville, Ontario's Junior Hanley looking for his 7th GM National Stock Car Series win. Contact here with McDonald and La Pearl.
Randy McDonald punches himself a hole to the inside of the 00. Roger La Pearl really has been the workout bag for these. And there it is again.
Look at Rolly.
As Rolly McDonald bounces off the inside of the 00. Roger La Pearl has got to be saying, man, what did I do to deserve this kind of treatment?
A couple of other guys just floated out of the weeds here, too. The Derek Lynch 15 and Bill Zardo Sr. in the 46. Crouch is hanging back there, but these guys that we talked about who are going to be fast off the top, Dave, are making their way slowly to the front.
Some great racing going on in the very early stages of this race, but I think that's got a lot to do, Eric, with the dominance of Junior Hanley throughout the last 2 seasons. These guys look ahead. They're very used to the sight of that red rear bumper disappearing off into the horizon.
Yeah.
They know that, especially here at Mosport, they cannot let Junior Hanley sneak away early.
And that makes everybody else in this series aggressive. When you've got a guy that can dominate like that, everybody wants to stop him from doing it. Guys like Crouch, guys up there like Randy McDonald and Bill Zardo Sr., who wrecked this car in the preliminaries on Saturday, took the machine back to Brampton, replaced all the pipes in the rear end, and look at him running out here. Very strong.
Bill Zardo's crew has yet to go to sleep this weekend. They pulled the all-nighter getting the 46 car back together, and apparently their labor has borne some fruit as the Z-Man is closing in on the lead pair. 72 Hanley, 13 Rolly McDonald, who just a couple of weeks ago went right down to the wire at the Sanair Super Speedway.
Here's Beaver Dragon in the 75 rolling again. A little Band-Aid there on the fender after that little altercation earlier on.
Here's Roger La Pearl, the 00, who just a few moments ago was leading this race. Now he's battling just to stay in the top 7 as the 53 of Dan Beatty moves in. La Pearl holding his position, but perhaps not for long. Beatty, who historically has run very well here at Mosport, has never had a whole lot of luck, but he's in the running again today.
Man, was he fast on Saturday. Then the crew dove under the car to replace the transmission in that, and they worked on that most of the afternoon. Randy McDonald and Robbie Crouch doing a little battling here.
This is an interesting confrontation. Robbie Crouch, as we've already mentioned, with the V6 power plant.
Right.
He's giving up horsepower on the straightaways, and believe me, you need some horsepower on the straightaways here at Mosport, but he's got the handling advantage. He's got a little bit of a weight break.
Right.
Should be better on tires, should be better on fuel. Right now, he's in a run with Randy McDonald, and we've got a car on the wall.
Sylvain Metivier, car number 82, the Attache Montreal Chevrolet Lumina, brings out the yellow to slow him down.
Junior Hanley backing it down under the caution, continues to hold the lead. Rolly McDonald, Bill Zardo, Randy McDonald, and Robbie Crouch, the top 5. And you can see that Sylvain Metivier has shortened up the 82 Chevrolet just a bit.
Well, that's rather easily repairable. Just pull those body panels away, and away Sylvain should go, as long as the front end isn't damaged up anyway. Well, we see the smoke on the tire here, and they're going to have to pull that into the pits and get that repaired. Robbie Crouch, an impressive charge. He's got one of the onboard radios. Robbie Crouch, Eric Thomas, do you read?
Gotcha, Eric.
Just a short one here, Rob. You've got that V6. You need a lot of horsepower down the straightaways, but you're able to stay with the leaders, no problem.
Car's working pretty good. It works better the farther we go, so I don't think power is the problem with the V6. Just going to be who handles the best for the longest.
And it's handling okay so far.
Seems to be getting a little bit better as time goes by.
Well, Eric, Robbie Crouch, the master of saving his car for the stretch drive. If he's starting to come into the game, that's bad news for the rest of the field.
Robbie Crouch charging for the front. There is more from the GM Motorsport 200 from Mosport International coming up on Raceline in just a moment.
Hi, welcome to the Castrol Tech File. Today's subject of the Tech File is the Glenn Wright Motorsports team Buick-powered Chevy Lumina. Glenn Wright and driver Robbie Crouch are going to have a distinct advantage today driving the Buick V6. Why? 3 reasons specifically. Number 1, the V6 doesn't build as much heat as a V8, and of course that's very important today as the temperature is upwards of some 90 degrees. Secondly, the V6 is very good on gas mileage. The less fuel stops you have to make, the better advantage in track position that's going to give you. And last but not least, there's a 200-pound weight brake for V6-powered cars that will allow them less weight, but also less weight on that right side. Tire wear is going to be a factor today, and the fewer pit stops you have to make for tires, the better you're going to be. This is Robbie Crouch's ride, Rent-A-Wreck. He'll be fast today.
Robbie Crouch has been making, as we said before, a very impressive charge to the front. And why not here on the restart? Crouch looking for his first win. But up front, bigger things are happening. This looks like a duel, something from Sanair. Rolly McDonald on the high side in the white car in the 13, and Junior Hanley jumping out in front. Remember these two guys battling at Sanair on Raceline? Maybe it'll happen here again, who knows?
So once again, the inside line is clearly the faster way around as Junior Hanley moves underneath to hang on to the lead. And like Claude Leclerc before him, now Rolly McDonald is in a dogfight just to stay in the top 4 or 5 positions. Bill Zardo has moved underneath into black and green 46. McDonald finally gets it back in line in 3rd. Then Robbie Crouch in the 6-banger down to the inside again. Randy McDonald to the outside. The Tampa Tornado blows underneath Rolly McDonald, and he's got the number 3 spot.
Look at Bill Zardo Sr. out of Brampton, Ontario, car 46. Nice job here running for 2nd place. Let's ride with the Big Z for a few laps here, shall we?
Bill Zardo working the wheel, and you can see the 48 of Robbie Crouch diving to the inside. Crouch is really flying in the V6. He moves underneath Zardo and now sets the bullseye on Junior Hanley.
Yeah, bad catch there for the Big Z. He got stuck up there on the outside, and Crouch was able to weasel his way underneath. And now he's going to set his sights on Junior, but he's running really strong up front here.
Crouch closing in on the lead, and Bill Zardo now has got his hands full of Randy McDonald in the 01 car. McDonald peeking down low. So Junior Hanley, who just a few laps ago had himself a 5 or 10 car length lead, now has got the Wolves at the back door.
Look at Crouch on the outside swinging it around. Oh, we've got a loop here, and it is Bill Zardo Sr. You watch him here, the grimace on his face in frustration. Going to jam it down into bottom gear. There he goes. Going to pull it around all by himself. Did anybody make any contact, Dave?
Nobody got a hold of him. What a helpless feeling. And you could see all the Z-Man could do was look out that right side window and say, please, fellas, miss me.
Yeah, and it looks like they did, but my, oh my, oh my. V6 or not, he's down about 50, 55 horsepower to Junior Hanley, but is Crouch making a battle out of this.
A bad break for Bill Zardo. The caution flag did not fly. Everybody missed him. He continued on. He's gone all the way to the back of the pack. Robbie Crouch, though, taking advantage. He now is 2nd. Randy McDonald by himself for the moment in the number 3 spot.
Randy's got some room here. Look at the distance and the intervals between the first 3 cars here. Junior Hanley, then about, what, 10 cars? Then you've got Robbie Crouch in the middle, and then Randy McDonald pulling up in 3rd here.
Well, Randy McDonald had to jump on the binders to avoid the spinning car of Bill Zardo.
Right.
And as a result, it's let that lead pair run away for a moment. Some lap cars coming into the picture here very shortly. The 77 of Dave Lebrecht, for the 2nd time, now sees Junior Hanley in his rearview mirror. Last time around, Hanley pulled a bank shot off Lebrecht's door and into the lead as he passed Roger Leperle.
So here come the leaders. Junior Hanley in the 72, clicking off another one by the stripe, going to slow it down, yellow. We've got a problem, and it's Dan Beatty in the 53.
Now, once again, Beatty with speed to spare here at Mosport, but not a lick of luck as the Phillips 66 car gets turned around.
Dan Beatty running in 5th place when he spun it here. We just saw Vito Maselli go by and get into some of that debris up there.
Beatty with a little bit of fiberglass damage on the right-hand side. May have made some contact to cause the spin.
Here's the top 5 of the GM Motorsport 200. Junior Hanley, Robbie Crouch, Randy and Rolly McDonald. No relation. Some people have asked us about that. And LePage in the 5th slot.
Kevin LePage, very smooth, very methodical, a very quiet run to 5th place right now, but he definitely is in the hunt.
You know, one of the things I really like about motorsport, the 2nd and 1st generation guys usually still around. You find that in Indy cars, NASCAR. ACT has it as well. Bill Zardo Jr. and Bill Zardo Sr. running independently, but they have learned a lot off each other. Why don't we get to know them a little bit better? NASCAR has them. Bobby and Davey Allison, Kyle and Richard Petty. IndyCar has them too. Mario and Michael Andretti, Al Unser Jr. and Sr. And the American Canadian Tour has them too. Father and son racing efforts. The guys are easy to spot. Z as in big and little Z. It's the American pronunciation, but it's the nicknames of Bill Zardo Jr. and Bill Zardo Sr. 50-year-old Bill Zardo Sr. and 34-year-old Bill Zardo Jr., both of Brampton, Ontario, have been racing against each other on the American Canadian Tour since 1989. But have they learned anything off each other? I mean, is this a classic son follows dad routine?
Well, in about 1961, I started helping a guy by the name of Jim Hallahan. I helped him for a couple of years, and then I went and bought one for myself.
Yeah, it was really hard to ignore. I've been around racing all my life. My father was such an influence on me. I needed to take the wheel.
The Zardos are still looking for their first tour victory, but between them, they've started over 120 events with 50 top 10 finishes.
Bill Sr.'s 2 grandchildren, Petey and Angie, are already showing an interest in racing. So just maybe these Zardo totals are going to go even higher yet. Bill Zardo Jr. and Bill Zardo Sr., 2 of racing's colorful people, brought to you by Kodak.
We are set for a restart in the GM Motorsport 200. Junior Hanley and now Robbie Crouch side by side in row 1. Randy McDonald and Rolly McDonald in number 2.
I tell you what, Randy McDonald's attention here on the green flag restart. Junior Hanley leads him down to the stripe and down to the flag, and into turn number 1 they go. Randy McDonald doesn't want this to have happen again. He doesn't want to let Junior get out in front. He was the only guy that could really chase Hanley down before. He wants to keep him in his sights.
And right now, Randy McDonald has got the inside lane on Robbie Crouch, and McDonald goes to second. Rolly McDonald right behind him. Whoa! Swamping some fiberglass down the front straightaway. Robbie Crouch, as you can see, an anxious man to get back downstairs.
Rolly McDonald really impresses me. We see Derek Lynch swinging way high on the outside. Bill Zardo Sr. ducking down with Dan Beatty. These 2 guys stuck together as they go down the backstretch.
That's going to be a good battle to watch because Zardo and Beatty, both among the fastest cars on this racetrack, they've both had some bad luck. They're at the back of the field right now, but that's not going to last long as they come flying through the pack toward the front.
De Sormo, number 81, trying to stay down low, letting those guys get by, and now he gives them some room.
Junior Hanley leads the way into turn 3. A couple of car lengths in hand over Randy McDonald. Crouch has fought his way back in line in third. Then Rolly McDonald, Kevin LePage, Roger LaPearl. So far, Junior Hanley, Eric, especially against Robbie Crouch's V6, has had the low-end horsepower, the torque, to get the pole on those restarts.
You have to have that torque too, Dave, to get out of the holes or out of the corners here at Mosport. They've got the horsepower, but man, has Crouch got it figured out. He gives up about 50 to 60 horsepower to Junior.
Oh, my goodness!
Big crash up here! LePage in trouble!
And John Grady is upside down. The right front tire has come off the LePage automobile. A vicious hit into the outside.
We're red.
Then the inside wall. The red flag is out. LePage with a vicious shot.
Fire, Dave.
There is a bit of a fire under the John Grady car. The field has come to a stop. The red flag is out, but right now the concern is for John Grady.
He's in there.
He is still in that automobile.
Here they come.
The safety crews are on the scene.
Oh, boy.
And this is a very serious situation. The fire crews are there. The extinguishers now being put onto the flames. And while our view being obscured a bit, there are drivers on the scene. There are safety crews on the scene. John Grady
drivers now running over to give it a hand here, Dave.
They are going to flip the car over to try and get John Grady out of it as soon as possible. And you can see they've got a lot of help there. That's the Kevin LePage car.
That's terminal, man. Look at that thing.
He's almost an afterthought to this thing, but he took a very hard ride, to say the least.
First bit of good news, LePage out of the car quickly and over the wall stunned, and what a crash.
Well, you can see him kneeling on the other side of the pit wall. He is badly shaken up. John Grady is still in the automobile. They are trying to get him out. Apparently the window net is jammed on car number 0. The fire is out.
There he is.
There's John Grady, and you can see
he
is not 100% right now after a vicious ride on his lid down the front straightaway.
With all the extinguishers going off, breathing all that stuff and the fire and everything else and the hit. Let's look at this again. What the devil happened here, Dave?
Well, there are the front 4, and there's Kevin LePage straight into the fence. Bang! And the right front tire, it appears, Eric, came off the car to cause the incident. Roger LaPearl somehow got by it.
That was
LePage heading for the inside wall.
Look at this.
My goodness, John Grady hits the tire.
But look at it's totally up in the air. The car is totally off the ground. He never did touch a fender.
John Grady's car at least 4 feet in the air.
Look
the
at LePage
tire
in the bottom here.
Went underneath the car, flipped Grady over, and you're right, Kevin LePage may have taken the harder ride on the inside.
Let's
take
give us an
look.
angle here. Look at this here.
Oh, my goodness. There goes the tire. Oh, John Grady was helpless. He had not a choice in the world.
It's like the Zero opened its mouth and swallowed that tire and just kicked him up in the air. Let's watch it. There's, you see the tire already, Dave.
The right front is already gone. Kevin LePage is just along for the ride. Somehow we managed not to lose a camera, and here comes John Grady. Not a thing in the world Grady could do but hang on for dear life.
You talk about rotten timing. If he tried that 1,000 times, he never could catch that tire, flipped him right up in the air. Here's Kevin LePage. This is his new car. Only 3 races on this machine, and it looks like junk to me here.
Well, Kevin LePage has got a demolished race car, and I don't believe he's feeling very well himself. You cannot take 2 harder rides in 5 seconds than LePage took. First head on into the outside, then head on into the inside wall.
There's your leader, Junior Hanley. The rest of the field still stopped with red flag conditions. Somewhere down amongst all this chaos is John Massingberg. John, if you're down there.
Racers being what they are always show concern for fellow racers. Bill, it didn't take you but a heartbeat to unbuckle, get out of your car, and dive right in after John. You must have been concerned for him.
Yeah, well, fire scares me a lot, and I seen the car on fire, so I jumped in and tried to get him out, and the roof was caved in too far, and I couldn't get out his belt, so I just jumped back out and yelled for everybody to flip the car so we could get him.
Well, as Bill Zardo buckles back in this afternoon, if nothing else, he's certainly the hero of the race.
And Eric, you can see Bill Zardo is shaken.
Yeah.
He's exactly right. The racer's #1 fear is fire. They'd even rather take a blow like Kevin LePage took here than face a fire.
Oh, yes. More coming up from GM Motorsport 200 on Raceline after this.
We're back at the GM Motorsport 200, and you are looking at the culprit, a broken wheel that put Kevin LePage into the wall.
Oh, boy, we'll come back to that. Mr. Consistent at Mosport, who is it? Crouch, LePage, or McDonald with the most number of top 10 finishes? Performance Racing News Trivia. What do you think?
Well, the answer is Kevin LePage with 4 top 10 finishes at Mosport International. Not today, as his $60,000 race car has now been reduced to just so much aluminum foil.
Well, I really thought he had a shot here at 2 wins after his victory at St. Félicien, but that car is toast. Hanley, Crouch, Rolly McDonald, Roger LaPerle, and Claude Leclerc, the top 5 at this point.
And these drivers now have to get themselves mentally back into racing mode.
Yeah.
Because as we mentioned, the thing they hate to see the most, fire. And I know it affects these drivers, but they're professionals. They're going to get clicked back into the right frame of mind. Hanley and Crouch are saying, well, okay, that's over. Now I've got a race to win.
I bet you there were a few telling glances on the onboard firefighting equipment, a little extra tug on the seat harness here. Hey, green flag, restart. Look at the jump that Crouch got on Junior Hanley. What a run here by Crouch. Now Junior gets into it on the throttle, and they bump in the corner, and Rolly McDonald gets by in the hole.
Junior Hanley drifting high, bumps Crouch out of the groove, and Rolly McDonald, the man in the catbird seat, takes advantage. I think that time, Eric, that Junior Hanley was a victim of that same low-end torque that we talked about last time. He came hard on the throttle out of turn 4. The car broke away, got around sideways. Crouch got the jump, and Hanley got in a little too hard into turn number 1.
Now look at Rolly McDonald. If you need a track like you do here at Mosport that needs a lot of horsepower to operate, you can usually count on this MassCar champion, Rolly McDonald, to do the job, and he's out front right now. Roger LaPerle trying to catch up. Here's Bill Zardo Sr. swinging high on the outside of Danny Knowles Sr. and Dan Beatty in the 53. They're going to go 3 wide in the corner.
Dan Beatty tucks it down to the inside. Look out, Danny Knowles shuts him down, and around goes the 71. Everybody else, it appears, gets by. That 3-wide sandwich very seldom works here at Mosport, and there's a perfect example why not.
Well, you got that little ridge down there where they paved the apron, but you got about a 2-inch difference between that surface and the apron pavement. Guys get caught there, and this is second spin for Danny Knowles Sr.
Knowles is back underway, and Junior Hanley is in hot pursuit. The 72 of Hanley trying to chase down Rolly McDonald. This is a perfect track for big Rolly McDonald. He just sets that big right foot on the floorboard and lets it fly.
And he doesn't have any trouble. We've talked about this before, Dave Moody. No difference in adjusting his driving style between the short tracks out east and the long tracks here at Mosport. He can handle them all very well.
Rolly McDonald is like the cavalry. He knows one way to go, and that is charge. But right now, Junior Hanley is on the march. He goes to the inside of McDonald. So despite the bump and run with Robbie Crouch, Junior Hanley not affected in the slightest. He's right back to the point. Whoop, maybe for a moment, as Rolly McDonald tries a nice move to the inside, but Hanley holds him off.
I love that shot going by the grandstand. The Hanley fans are waving him. Come on, Junior. Come on, Junior. Get by him there.
And he needed all the help he could get as Rolly McDonald almost swapped lanes and took it right back. They move around the Dave Lebrecht car one more time. There's the 48 of Robbie Crouch, third, but a distant third right now as he leads Roger LaPerle and Claude Leclerc.
Don't forget, he is running the V6, one of 2 of them out here. Brad Layton in the 1X, also running a V6. He has not been a factor. Layton hasn't, but Crouch keeping that balance between a lack of horsepower, but that weight break, and he's staying within range of Junior Hanley. It looks like a long distance here, but it's not that far away.
So far, the tenor of the race has not suited Robbie Crouch. The six-banger needs long stretches, 40, 50, 60 laps of green flag racing in a row. so that the heavier V8 automobiles begin to wear out their tires. We've got trouble, and it's Danny Knowles Sr. again, the 71, having quite an adventure out there this afternoon.
It sure is. He's having trouble getting this car to track around here in any way, shape, or form. That is the third spin for Danny Knowles Sr. Danny Knowles Jr. running out here as well. The yellow is out to slow it down.
Once again, to complete the thought, that's bad news for Robbie Crouch, because as the race goes on with consecutive green flag laps, the heavier V8 machines wear their tires a whole lot more than that lighter six-banger for Robbie Crouch. But right now, the advantage goes away from Crouch again as the cars get to cool those tires under yellow.
Up front here, Junior Hanley coming in beside the pace car, and Rolly McDonald. These guys are going to come in for some tire changes.
They have pulled up alongside the pace car, and it looks like at least the lead pair have decided that now's the time for service. As they come into turn 3, Hanley ducking down on the inside, and here they come. Hanley will come in, Rolly McDonald will come in, Claude Leclerc will come in, Roger Leperle. Robbie Crouch stays on the racetrack. He apparently decides that he can wait a while with the six-banger.
That's what he wanted with that weight advantage. He will stay out, and Junior Hanley is in.
Bob Coyne and Junior Hanley's Q crew all go over the wall. Put on a fresh set of boots for Junior and a full load of fuel. He's the man leading the race right now, and he's led it virtually all afternoon. He's down and out in good shape.
Junior Hanley, one of those quick stops, and Rolly McDonald's people get him out in short order.
They do indeed. Speaking of pit stops, earlier on today, the championship round of the GM Parts National Pit Stop Competition took place right here at Mosport International Speedway.
One of the big attractions on the American Canadian Tour, giving these pit crews a chance to show their stuff for prizes. GM Parts is behind it, and these guys really get pumped for the competition, don't they, Dave?
They've been competing all season long just to get here to the finals. The top 5 teams, the Robbie Crouch, Junior Hanley, Derek Lynch, Leo Poirier, and Bill Zardo senior teams. Each crew will get 3 pit stops. The 2 quickest will count toward their final accumulated time. The big surprise of the early rounds was turned in by the OnSat Motorsports team of Derek Lynch. Despite being one of the youngest teams on the GM Motorsports Series Tour, they turned in an all-time record, 16.455 seconds, to break the Robbie Crouch crew's all-time mark. But the 2-time defending champion Renterek team responded in kind. They turned in a sizzling stop, 16.587 seconds. Until just a few moments ago, that would have been an all-time record. But the best stop of all was still to come. Junior Hanley and the Quaker State Q crew really saved the best for last. They needed a dandy pit stop.
And what is pressure to the Hanley crew? What's on the line? $50,000 in total prizes from GM Parts. They need a good one here, Dave.
They got a good one. The co-crew chiefs, Lloyd Heath and Bobby Coyne, ripped off another all-time record, 15.673 seconds. And the Junior Hanley team, by 1.3 seconds, takes the 3rd annual GM Parts National Pit Stop Championship.
I want to tell you something. Junior Hanley may work the knobs of the number 72, but it's that crew that gives him superlative service that allows him to win so often.
They are, to coin a phrase, the hidden heroes of racing. All of these teams, they work in the shadows, but they get the job done.
All right, let's look at the realignment here. Robbie Crouch there on the inside, the 48. Bill Zardo Sr. Here they come out of 4. Let's get that green flag, turn these guys loose, and get this thing done.
V6 on the inside, V8 on the outside. One car just ducking out of the pits. The Dan Beatty automobile stays on the lead lap, but he may be a thorn in the side of the leaders before it's over as they pull up to try and put him down a lap. Crouch on the inside, Zardo on the outside. They are wheel to wheel for the lead as they hit the start-finish line.
That little 6-banger of Crouch is staying up with everybody here. In case you've just jumped in, Robbie Crouch on the 48 deciding to run the V6 and the weight brake that goes with it to cut down on tire wear. So far, we'll say it again, the strategy is working very, very well for him.
Crouch has not made a pit stop. He is on the same 4 tires, the same half or less tank of gas, but right now the Tampa Tornado is making it work. He gets down on the inside, moves underneath Bill Zardo to take the lead. Zardo back in single file 2nd, Randy McDonald in 3rd, 4th, the number 7 of Andre Beaudoin.
I don't think we can mention this too often, Dave. The 6-time ACT champion, 6 wins last year. This guy is on a mission today. He does not want to get skunked in 92. He figures with this V6 idea that he's got, he can really come through and claim his first win of the year.
This is a brand new race car. Only the 2nd time out. Crouch back to his familiar blue colors that many fans of the American Canadian Tour know and love, but it's not over yet because there's a man named Hanley coming out of the back of the pack that would like to get his finger in the pie one more time.
And And a big piece of pie is what Randy McDonald sets his sights on. Halfway standings, Crouch, Zardo Sr., and Randy McDonald, Beaudoin, Knowlton, and Lynch.
The battle is shaping up for second. Bill Zardo on the inside in the 46. Now under the attack by Randy McDonald. McDonald up on the outside trying to do this one the long way around. Now dives down low. Did not quite have it in the corners, but he may get him on the straightaway. McDonald pulls even into turn number 1. He's got the spot.
Randy McDonald was talking to him before the race began. He was kind of perplexed. He said, Eric, I've gone to a softer spring setup to cut down on tire wear, get the car to float a little bit in the corner, but a lot of other guys out here have made the same kind of an adjustment. Bill Zardo Sr. is one of those guys. You would think Randy McDonald could pull away, but he's really got his hands full.
He does indeed. Junior Hanley trying to fight his way out of the back. He is up to the number 5 position right now as he races around the 16 of Kip Stockwell. Stockwell, the rookie, having a tremendous run here this afternoon, as is Andre Beaudoin in car number 7. Two of the under-financed young lions on this circuit. Hanley is 5th. Beaudoin holding him off, at least for the moment, in the number 4 position.
Was talking to Kip Stockwell before this event began. It's a brand new motor in the number 16. He wants to take it easy in the first half of the race at least. He doesn't want to bruise that new bullet.
Here's Hanley going down to the inside of Andre Beaudoin, and Junior Hanley continues his march to the front of the field underneath Andre Beaudoin. Hanley now 4th. Let's go to John.
Gentlemen, we're with Kevin LePage. Kevin, first off, you're all right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sore. You know, my back's bothering me and my lower leg areas are bothering me, but my pride mostly. You know, we had a good run with the DF Allen Lumber Thunderbird. You know, we started way back. We got up to like 6th or 5th, I guess, and it's coming out of the turn 4, the wheel broke and we went right into the wall.
Well, the early word back is that John Greedy is all right. A little shaken, but he's fine. Your car, though, is not faring quite as well.
Yeah, you know, this is the 3rd time that we've come here to Mosport, and 2 times we brought the car home in a basket. You know, the last time we got put in the inside wall, and this time mechanical failure put us in the wall. And I don't know why. You know, we take care of our equipment and everything, but you know, when you break a wheel, it ain't much you can do about that. You know, it's too bad.
Well, tough break for Kevin LePage, one of ACT's top runners. It's been a bad day for him here today.
So Kevin LePage, Dave Moody's got to go to the backup car, the older machine, but he will be back. You know that for sure.
Robbie Crouch moving around, a gentleman who not a whole lot of time ago was in contention to win this thing. Roger LaPearl, the pole sitter in car number 00. His day has gone backwards in a hurry as he now is a lap down, and Andre Beaudoin, the 5th place automobile, is facing backwards in turn 2.
PP Electric Oldsmobile parked up there where he doesn't want to be. And there's some severe damage in the back end of that machine. Rolling McDonald goes rolling by here, so they're going to slow it down and bring out the yellow.
Tough break for Andre Beaudoin as he loses a lap in 2.
Robbie Crouch up front. He's got the onboard radio. Robbie Crouch, Eric Thomas. Do you read?
Got you loud and clear, Eric.
Earlier on, Rob, you talked about the car getting a little bit better and better. Is that still the situation here? You're out front.
I'm out front. I'm a little bit loose, Eric, but I'm just going to ride it out. Coming back, we could probably improve the car. We made the right moves, but we could make it worse, too. So we'll see if we can last with the gas.
Yes, as we're talking, Hanley pits. Any concern about your strategy for the pits, Robert?
I'm going to stay out here unless I run out of fuel or unless the car gets to Hanley real bad.
So Robbie Crouch will hold his car. There's some problems on this pit stop, Eric. A problem on the left front tire. Apparently, either the air wrench is they're after the air wrench from the left rear. So Bobby Coyne will go back, get himself a different tool, and they'll change the stop. Fortunately, it's under yellow. Hanley was going to have to go to the rear anyway, so they should have no problem getting that left front bolted on and getting Junior Hanley down and away.
A lot of guys from the original field still running out here. There's the number 4 of Warren Shrub out of Peterborough getting some service. Howie Scannell Jr. out of Milton is rolling. We saw Gonzalez. There's the 7 of Andre Beaudoin. And a few of the others. There's the 27 of Kim Wallace on pit road too, Dave.
Pit's a very busy place right now. Dan Beatty in the 53, who ran at the front earlier on today, still in competition, trying to make his way back into contention. Joe Gonzalez in the 93, and Kip Stockwell's car number 16, who early on ran in the top 5, parked a little bit kitty corner on pit road. He'll have to use reverse to get out of the pits. Not usually the hot setup, but he is back underway.
Now he is rolling. Bit of a cockeyed parking job there in pit road. But Kip Stockwell, I like this guy. He shows flashes of brilliance, Dave. He's one of the up-and-comers on the tour for sure.
Talk about your second-generation drivers. His father and crew chief, Lenny Stockwell, one of the all-time greats in Vermont stock car racing history. We're set to go back to the green. Crouch on the inside, Randy McDonald on the outside. Big jump for Robbie Crouch.
Nice job by Robbie Crouch in the six-holer into the first turn, but look at McDonald. Once he gets up in the RPM range, he really pulls even with Crouch.
Crouch down the back straightaway, McDonald on the outside. Now the 00 Roger LaPearl is a lapped automobile. He was in contention earlier, but now he's just trying to hang on and save the afternoon. Side-by-side battle. You can see McDonald a little bit sideways out of the corner, and that gives Crouch the advantage into turn number 1.
Crouch is not going to bruise this car at all, just going to drive it nice and methodical out here. He's got the horsepower. You've got to keep these six-bangers up in the RPM range. Watching and standing with this pit crew in practice, they had up top banging on the rev limiter. He's getting the right kind of performance out of that V6.
Robbie Crouch, just the opposite of what we said earlier about Junior Hanley. He has not got that low end. He cannot come off the bottom of the tach meter and out-drag people down the stretch. He needs to get that motor wound up and keep it wound up.
Exactly.
And right now, it is wound up as he pulls away from Randy McDonald.
Doing a nice job, six-time ACT champion. Tampa Tornado Robbie Crouch out front and pulling away now from Randy McDonald.
McDonald's attention goes from the front bumper to the rear view mirror, and we've got a tangle. Andre Beaudoin is in the wall.
Hard, too.
He tangles with Warren Shrub. It looked like hopping a wheel in turn number 4, and he slides head on into the concrete. There's the remains of the Hydrolift, car number 4 of Warren Shrub. So Shrub and Beaudoin, who just a moment ago we saw taking on tires side by side on pit road, get into it again under green.
Well, we didn't talk about it at the beginning, and there's Bill Zardo Sr. with some bad fiberglass damage on the right-hand side. Didn't talk about the physical nature of this track, but man, we have torn a lot of fiberglass here so far today.
This is not a track where you want to get off course. Concrete retaining walls all the way around. You can see it. That concrete does not give, and Andre Beaudoin will attest to that.
PP Electric Oldsmobile about to go on the magical hook. Just like magic, you're in the pits.
Now, that's a tough turn of events for young Andre Beaudoin. Not long ago, he was the 4th place automobile. Now he's out of it. Bill Zardo Jr. in the pits, and he's got a badly overheating power plant as they just dump the water down the radiator.
Give it a drink, try and cool that thing down. Back up front, green flag is coming out, and Crouch gets the jump again on McDonald. The 0-1 is limping here.
Randy McDonald tucks it back in line in second. The battle for third. Rolly McDonald down low in the white number 13, trying to hold off. Guess who? Junior Hanley.
Junior Hanley swinging by on the high side, trying to catch up. But this strategy that we've been talking about all afternoon for Crouch looking better and better with every lap.
We've talked earlier about how Crouch might try to outlast them by not taking a pit stop. We never quite considered that he might also be able to outrun them. But right now, that number 48 is the class of the field. McDonald, Hanley, Lynch, and Leclerc behind him. But nobody able to run with that 48 car.
A little more on the strategy, too. You're talking about V6 versus V8. Now, McDonald putting the challenge on Rolly McDonald. Gas isn't the problem, Dave. It is the tires. With that weight break, the definite advantages with tires, V6 or V8, the fuel consumption's about the same here.
Unfortunately for Robbie Crouch, his 4 old tires are probably not going to be as good as everybody else's 4 new tires.
That's true.
I think the advantage is going to be his chassis setup. Crouch has obviously hit it right on the money here this afternoon, and he's leaving everybody else to battle for second. 13, Rolly McDonald, 72, Junior Hanley, as Hanley continues his march from the back of the pack down to the inside.
He's boxed in.
Shrub. Whoa, no, he's not. Hanley makes it 3 deep again on the inside, blows underneath both McDonald and Warren Shrub, and again, boy, when you've got that kind of horsepower, it's easy to look brave out there.
Shrub sandwich with a side of fries. They make it look easy out there, don't they?
Hanley now is second and trying to close in on Robbie Crouch. And Eric, you get the feeling that we are going to have a great battle down the stretch. Crouch in the 6-banger, Hanley in the V8, moving up now to put a lap on Kim Wallace.
I got to ask you this. Hanley is so used to leading these things with other guys challenging. What do you think's in his brain now as he's the one doing the chasing?
Well, Junior Hanley does not like to chase. He hasn't got a whole lot of experience at it, for one, but the whole mental makeup of the man. He likes to get out there. He does not play cat and mouse. He does not try and fake and jive and make a fancy move. He just puts the hammer down, drags you, beats you, and puts you away. If he can win by a lap and a half, he's more than happy to do it. And I think the fact that Robbie Crouch maintains a 3-car length lead right now says a lot about the strength of Robbie Crouch's car.
One thing Hanley likes to do, too, is just get up close enough so the whole rearview mirror is filled with that red T-bird.
A lot of folks have gotten used to it. Hanley goes very high there. That was not at all what he had in mind. And it almost looks like he is falling back. Hanley is definitely struggling right now in car number 72. He got hard into the corner. Maybe a brake problem because he got in way too hard, went to the top of the track, and Crouch was able to walk away.
Well, here's an intense little scrap for third. Rolly McDonald from Pictou, Nova Scotia, and here comes Randy McDonald ducking in on the inside.
McDonald and McDonald just trying to get up there and find second place again. They used the Don Forte automobile as a pick on the front chute. Rolly McDonald trying to hang on, but Randy McDonald continues to punch his way to the inside. This race is getting late, and right now the gloves are off.
I love Rolly McDonald's style. Up there at the front, fades back, up there again. Now he's got problems, and Randy McDonald's going to take advantage of this box-in deal and tuck in behind the 92 at Dave Whitlock.
The lap cars cost Rolly a spot there. Let's go down to John.
Junior Hanley's co-crew chief, Bob Coyne. Bob, what's Junior saying about the car? He almost seems to be backing up a smidge.
In the last caution, he said we must have got the bad stagger on our last set of tires. So the car was good at the first set of tires. These tires aren't no good.
Can he gather up enough stuff to get around Robbie?
I think he burnt them off now trying to catch him. I think he burned them off now.
Well, that's a tough break for Junior Hanley. He's had a good run on the go here. He may have to settle for second here today.
Junior Hanley running in second, but time is running out. The white flag is out. Robbie Crouch has rolled the dice, and it looks like he's come up a winner.
The long drought is over. 6 wins last year, nothing so far this year. That is about to change. The V6 gamble has paid off big for the Tampa Tornado. Around he comes, the GM Motorsport 200 win as he salutes the crowd to Robbie Crouch.
Crouch under the checkered flag takes the victory, and that is a happy Floridian in the cockpit of car number 48. The first win is always the toughest, and there's the happy Floridians crew down on pit road.
Crew chief for the Glen Wright Motorsport team, Carl Osha. Carl, congratulations, first win of the year. You guys look great.
Thank you very much. We really needed this one.
Carl, the car looked perfect all day long.
Yeah, it ran real good. It ran the same all day long, which is really the key. You know, it ran the same yesterday and today, the same speed, and that's really what it takes.
Was the V6 an advantage today?
I think so. You know, the tires obviously held up, and, you know, obviously we made it on fuel. So
you got somebody to go see in Winner's Circle. Go get there.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Well, a very happy group down in the Crouch pit. The co-crew chiefs, Carl Osha and Brian Latouche. Crouch takes the win. Hanley settles for second today. McDonald, and Derek Lynch sneaking in for the number 5 spot.
He was 7th last time, improves a bit on it this time. Claude Leclerc, Brad Layton, Steve Knowlton, Zardo Sr., and Danny Knoll Jr. We're coming back to talk with the winner, Robbie Crouch, on Raceline from Mosport in a moment. We're back on Raceline. The GM Motorsport 200, Eric Thomas, Dave Moody, and John Massingberg.
It's in the books. Robbie Crouch takes the win, and John is downstairs with the winner.
Well, as Robbie Crouch pulls it on in, gets the helmet undone. Robbie, I think Glenn Wright and Carl Ocean, the guys, gave you a perfect car, but you gave everybody else out there a perfect race today. Congratulations.
Well, the car ran great, you know, and that's what a driver, a fair driver can do great things in a great car. And the car ran the same speed all day. And, you know, I think the real key to the race was the junior went in and pitted, and probably the stagger wasn't just quite right when he came back out. And he just couldn't quite get the job done after that.
That was the word, was the stagger on junior. Robbie, people came up to challenge you. Randy McDonald, Rolly McDonald was up there, and, of course, junior came back to take a shot. Did they have enough stuff to get around you, or you were determined that this was going to be your race?
Well, I was determined that it was going to be my race within certain boundaries. You know, I didn't want to do anything stupid, and the car was working good. A little bit slow on restarts, but then it would pick it up. So if I wouldn't lose it then, I was in pretty good shape.
Well, congratulations, Robbie Crouch, the winner of the GM Parts 200 from Mosport Speedway.
So here is what has happened to the GM National Stock Car Series point standings into the final event at Cayuga. That is just a 34-point lead for Junior Hanley.
Certainly doable still for Randy McDonald, but if Hanley keeps running the way he has, it's going to be very difficult indeed.
Time now for the Revell Model Performance Driver of the Race, and a very special edition of this feature here, Dave.
No doubt about it. Sometimes there are more important things than who wins. Bill Zardo. He sees a fellow racer on fire and in trouble, and he gets out of that car, and he is the hero of the day.
Well, Dave Moody, the man who won 6 events last year and a 6-time American-Canadian Tour champion, has been struggling to this point, but what a great run here. No pit stops. He went all the way with a little 6-holder.
And not only did he outlast them, he outran them at the finish, because it came down to a last few lap shootout between he and Junior Hanley. The man they call the Tampa Tornado had the fastest race car today.
And as you predicted for this race, a very physical afternoon here at Mosport. We've been up a lot of race cars here.
Indeed we did. John Grady with a vicious ride, upside down, on fire on the front straightaway. The hardest lick of all, though, probably belonged to Kevin LePage.
So that's going to do it. The win in the GM Motorsport 200 goes to the Tampa Tornado, Robbie Crouch. Just going to wind it up from here. On behalf of John Massingford and Dave Moody, I'm Eric Thomas saying so long from Raceline.
Racing Radio is provided by New Venture Communications, London, Ontario. In-car and wall cameras supplied by Sony Canada, makers of the Sony Handycam. Raceline has been brought to you by GM Parts, the expert choice. Kodak Gold Plus Film. You can't keep the moment without Kodak. Castrol XLR, the oil engineered for today's cars. Revell, the world's model maker. And by Budweiser Racing. It's a Bud race.